You've had some bad words to say about him at times over the years. What do you think about Colby?
After a while, no matter how much you hate him, you at least got to respect him. I mean, the guy keeps winning fights, and he's a tough dude.
People want to pretend Colby can't fight. He's a real problem because that style of shit talking is infuriating.
Yeah.
Love me or hate me, I'm just getting started. You haven't seen the best of Colby Chaos Covington yet.
He can say whatever he wants.
Colby gets it, man.
You stay off the tracks when the train's coming through, Junior. Don't matter if it's a Trump train or the Colby train. Get out the way!
You can't say a goddamn thing to him because he's in a character.
I didn't buy a ticket to come see you guys. You can't buy a ticket to see me.
I sell tickets. I put butts in seats. I sell pay-per-views. So people want to see me. Whether you love me or hate me, you're going to tune in to see me fight.
If you didn't have any information about him and his character, and you just watch his fights, you'd be like, fuck, man, this guy's driven.
You got to respect me at the end of the day when I keep smashing all the people you thought were going to beat me.
But then you add into that this character, and then everybody's pretending, that, oh, that guy's a joke, that guy's a joke. That joke, he's running over everybody.
No one gives about you. Everybody came to see me, so shut your mouth and listen to the champ.
He's a nightmare for everybody in the division.
You got something to say? Come see me.
He's full old school Ric Flair with a new style twist.
He's a real fighter. He's absolutely one of the best welterweights in the world.
No matter what you think of Colby personally, you cannot deny that the kid's one of the best in the world, one of the best fighters on the planet.
I'm the cardio king for a reason. I go all day, all night. I don't ever get tired.
The output is all the same. It's just constant. Bang, 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 kick, bang, 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 punch. Doesn't get tired. It keeps coming. It's terrifying.
My cardio, my heart, my pacing, other fighters just can't keep up with me.
Threw 541 strikes against Robbie Lawler.
With a right.
Just staying on it over and over and over again.
And it's a non-stop pressure. He's mean.
Wow, listen to the reception for Colby Covington.
The UFC and MMA in general is a ruthless sport that's filled with warriors that shoot for the stars. Fighters that put their health on the line to achieve greatness. While doing that, they sacrifice a lot of things in hopes that the company will keep them on the roster.
Wow, how good is this? He's moving left, saddle, left hook. Oh!
Each fight is a chance to climb the ladder, but also to fall off from it. But the sport not only looks for fighters that will notch win after win, they have to be spectacular at doing it. After all, it's a business, and if you ain't drawing eyes, you might find yourself dropped. One of the most prolific UFC fighters, Conor McGregor, knows this best. Combining his fighting style with a legendary trash talk took him to UFC stardom.
I'm gonna this boy up. Make no mistake.
Unbelievable!
He makes each of his fights a spectacle that can't be missed. Fans yearn for this stuff.
If this was a different time, I would invade his favela on horseback and kill anyone that was not fit to win.
When humble Conor showed up for the rematch against Dustin Poirier in January 2021,
Trying to get rid of me, guys. I love it here, man. I helped build this.
the fans were surprised at the image of a Conor McGregor that respects his opponents leading up to the fight.
Yes. Good man, good man.
Unlike the Conor they remember from past years, like the one that tormented Jose Aldo, beating him even before that fight began. For their third bout, the old crazy Conor returned, and fans were more fired up than ever.
Getting walked like a dog in that octagon on Saturday night.
Conor charted his path to glory using insults and adversity towards his opponents, all by his own choice. Not all fighters choose this path. More importantly, not all of them can allow not to. One of the fighters that discovered the brutal truth about the sport is Colby Covington.
So you were making $500 a fight, didn't have much money.
Didn't have any money. You know, I never stopped believing, and I kept earning it, and I kept working for it, and that's the difference, is that I never gave up on my dreams.
With a record of 12-1, Covington heard the news that he was about to be dropped from the UFC roster, despite his winning record.
Shining back fist. Gets the knockdown for Covington.
Colby was beating opponents left and right with his superior work ethic, endurance, and all-American wrestling. He was the complete package, or so he thought. On one fateful morning, he was told that his style was boring, uninspiring, and that he can't draw people to the sport.
They had told my manager, Dan Lambert, that they weren't going to re-sign me. They didn't like my style. They didn't like that I wasn't entertaining.
They were going to cut him. They had told him that his style wasn't fan-friendly.
Win or lose against his then next opponent, the legendary Brazilian Damian Maia, it would be his last fight under the coveted UFC spotlight.
Before this fight, they told me, no matter what happens, we're not re-signing you. We don't like your character. We don't like your fighting style. I had a dream when I was a little kid to be a world champion as a wrestler and fighter, and I never gave up on those dreams. I worked hard for it every single day.
Colby Covington's career can easily be divided into the pre-Maia and after-Maia era. For it was that fight that would pave the way for Covington's rise to fame, and him becoming one of the best welterweights in the game ever. Covington was born in Clovis, California on February 22, 1988. He lived with his parents Noel and Brad Covington, and he had two sisters, Candace and Callie. The family moved from California to Oregon when Colby was 8 years old. Colby was attracted to wrestling from a very young age, genetics playing their part. His father was a wrestler during his time at the Oregon Institute of Technology and Southern Oregon University. Covington has for a long time wanted one thing, and that is to be the best fighter in the world. As a kid, he often wrestled with his younger sister for fun, and his idol growing up was Ric Flair.
Who are you? Never tell me how to wrestle. You and I'll be naked when you come back.
Once he made up his mind to become a wrestler, he decided he was going to go all the way and become a world champion. He's been relentless in pursuing this goal. Once the man wasn't raised in poverty, young Colby didn't have much money or resources as he was growing up. He said in an interview that he had to walk or ride a bike for miles to get to the gym and train, even when it was pouring rain.
Having to ride my bicycle to the gym 3 miles in the rain on rainy days in Florida because it rains a lot over there.
Still, his goal fueled him, and he wouldn't be stopped come rain or thunder. As a wrestler at Thurston High School in Springfield, Oregon, Covington won the 171-pound state championship as a senior. His skills were on par with the best wrestlers in the country, and coaches started to take note. Although he committed to Arizona State University, his test scores were low, so he chose Iowa Central Community College instead. It was there that he would show his wrestling dominance and reach a record that even the legendary Dan Gable would surely approve of.
Lose to him because he beat you twice before.
That's where I wrestle, you know, I like to just go. I don't like to have a lot of downtime, I just want to go.
Colby won the 165-pound National Junior College Wrestling title as a freshman with a perfect 34-0 record. During that spell in his life, his roommate was future UFC light heavyweight champion John Bones Jones.
John Jones remains the UFC light heavyweight champion.
Following his perfect season, Covington transferred to the University of Iowa. However, it was during that time trouble would start to follow Colby. Put another way, it was during that time that Colby himself would start to cause trouble. On August 10, 2007, he was arrested for eluding the police and driving under the influence, with over 3 times the legal limit of 0.08 of alcohol detected in his blood. Due to his arrest, Covington was suspended from the wrestling team for a year. He saw limited time on the mats over the next season. Former coach Jim Zaleski eventually convinced Covington to transfer to Oregon State University. During his time at Oregon, Covington earned All-American honors as a wrestler. He was starting to up-level his wrestling game to even loftier heights. He was also a 2-time Pac-10 Conference champion at 174 pounds. Then, trouble again ensued. It seemed that every time Colby would go on a streak, he tried to balance that with acting out outside of the mats. He was cited for 4th-degree assault due to an incident in which he was accused of punching 2 men after a verbal altercation. Luckily, the Benton County District Attorney's Office did not pursue charges. After an illustrious wrestling career, Colby had gone on to achieve a 5-0 professional MMA record. His debut in the MMA world came on February 11, 2012, against an uninspiring opponent. Chris Ensley had an abysmal record of 6 wins and 38 losses entering the contest with Covington, but Colby had a record of 0-0. So perhaps Ensley's experience could play a role, right? Well, Colby dominated Ensley during the entire matchup and forced him to tap out a little over a minute into the first round. His next 4 fights he would win either by submission, by arm triangle choke, or a unanimous decision. He dominated all of his fights. He was ready to climb the ladder. Covington made his UFC debut against Wong Anyang on August 23, 2014 at UFC Fight Night 48.
Wong Anyang, 23 years old. Colby Covington, 3 years his elder. Colby Chaos Covington!
He won the fight by TKO via punches in the closing seconds of the first round.
Hit it's all over! Colby Covington wins his UFC debut!
He then faced Wagner Silva on November 8, 2014 at UFC Fight Night 56, winning via submission in the third round.
And there it is, going for a ride.
Silva going the winner by tap out due to a rear naked choke.
In a media interview before the fight, the Colby we saw was polite, talking nicely about Silva and his team. He wanted to put on a good show for the fans and was confident in his skills.
You know, I don't know too much about him. I know he's a strong fighter. He's a jiu-jitsu guy, and, you know, I expect it, a tough fight. You know, I'm prepared for anything, but I'm going to implement my game plan. I'm not going to worry about what he's going to do.
Compared to the Colby we know today, that version was a Boy Scout.
I'm putting on a show for you all you Saturday night. That's why I'm the people's champ. I love you all, filthy animals.
Covington then faced Mike Pyle on May 23, 2015 at UFC 187, taking the fight on short notice. Nonetheless, he won the fight via unanimous decision. Again, in an interview after the fight, he was courteous, even dishing out compliments to his opponent.
I expected a tough, resilient fighter in Mike Pyle, and, you know, it's a good win. You know, I'm just only getting better from here.
He was also grateful for his training partner that helped him prepare for the fight. That partner was Jorge Masvidal. More on that later. After a few notched wins, Covington would face Warlley Alves on December 12, 2015 at UFC 194. With 8 straight professional victories, the last 3 coming in the UFC, Covington was one of the hottest prospects in the UFC welterweight division. Unfortunately, that streak would come to an end. He lost the fight against Alves via submission in the first round. In an interview after the fight, Colby said that he fought against Alves with a fractured rib, but that he had to take the fight because he was broke.
I had to show up for that fight against Warlley Alves with a fractured rib because I was broke. I had debt, you know, I had to pay bills, so I had to show up and get my show money, you know.
But Colby wouldn't allow that loss to derail him from his goals. After his first defeat, he would go on a tear and win 5 consecutive fights and get into title contention. On June 18, 2016, at UFC Fight Night 89, Covington faced newcomer Jonathan Meunier a year after his last fight. Covington won the fight via submission in the third round.
He's got that rear naked choke as well. Very tight. He's going to get the tap here. And there it is. Colby Covington gets the finish.
He then faced another new face in the UFC in Max Griffin on August 20th, 2016 at UFC 202, winning by TKO in the third round.
And it's all over. Mark Smith stops the fight. Colby Covington earns the TKO.
Covington's next bout was against Brian Barberena on December 17, 2016 at UFC on Fox 22, a fight he won via unanimous decision. Covington was handling his opponents relatively easily, and he was starting to get tougher ones in his following bouts. Covington faced Dong Young Kim on June 17, 2017 at UFC Fight Night 111. Again, he won via unanimous decision.
For the winner by unanimous decision, Colby Chaos Covington.
In the post-fight interview, we would see flashes of future Colby. With the crowd in Singapore booing in unison, Colby seemed to relish the moment and asked for his shot at the championship belt.
I'm the home crowd king of this division. This is my division now. I want bigger names, man. I want my title shot. Fresh blood, baby. I'm coming for it all. I'm the best in this division. Dana called my manager, Dan Lambert. We ready for that title shot.
But the UFC had other plans. His UFC contract nearing an end, Covington's presumed last fight would come against Damian Maia on October 28, 2017.
Colby Covington, he's taking on the greatest Brazilian Jiu-Jitsu practitioner to ever compete in mixed martial arts.
is what I signed up for. This is why I signed up to fight Damian Maia in his backyard in Brazil. I knew the crowd was going to be loud. I know they're going to want me to lose. Man, that energy is going to make me. You're going to see the best Colby Chaos Covington tomorrow.
It would be a fateful Saturday evening for Covington. Maia was on a hot streak put to an end by Tyron Woodley in their fight for the welterweight belt just a few months prior to his matchup with Covington. Maia was itching to return to the win column and remind fight fans of his jiu-jitsu mastery. Meanwhile, Covington was on an entirely different mission. Told that it would be his last fight, win or lose, he decided it was time to pull out the big guns, both inside and outside of the octagon.
I'm better than Damian Maia in everything we do.
Inspired by the WWE promotion, he'd create a completely different persona. A brash, MAGA hat-wearing loudmouth who yearned for conflict and adversity.
I'm the highest level of wrestling that there is. Now, I believe I am the best fighter in the world, and I'm going to go out there and show that against Damian Maia. This is my time. You know, he had his time. I'm going to lay him to rest. I'm going to knock him out in the first round in front of his home fans. I absolutely believe that Damian Maia will be retiring this weekend after our retirement. Even though he doesn't want to, I will force him into retirement, and I hope he has his retirement speech ready.
It was do or die for Colby, who drastically changed his behavior in the interviews leading up to the fight. He called Brazilians angry animals in Sao Paulo a dump.
Brazil's been a letdown. It's a disappointment, you know, a bunch of angry animals running around here telling me I'm gonna die, so fuck Brazil.
I know they want me dead, screaming Juve more. You know, it's just a joke over here. Sao Paulo's a joke. I'm glad that Dad bod Damian Maia signed the dotted line so I can end his career on Saturday night.
The fight opened up with heated exchanges of strikes.
Covington has done a lot of talking.
Maia lands the left hand. You know what, man? After watching the Woodley fight and seeing that, another left hand by Maia. He's landing a lot.
Maia tried to secure a takedown early on, but Covington showed that he has superb ground game as well. Covington constantly pushed the pace and did damage to Maia with his vicious leg kicks.
Now kicking, he's very active so far in this round, Colby Covington.
He seemed to enjoy the fight, laughing and taunting Maia every chance he got. Even though he ate some good shots,
Covington trying to close the distance, but Maia doing very well with his back against the fence. Nice.
Covington stayed on a pace that made Maia uncomfortable, demonstrating his unlimited gas tank. Both fighters took abuse during the fight, but Maia, fed up with the relentless pace, tried to capitalize on his jiu-jitsu arsenal. However, he would find an equally skilled counterpart in Covington, who stuffed each attempt, while forcing the Brazilian to waste his energy.
And now you see Damian starting to tip or takedowns. Right there, almost securing one.
Covington continued the relentless pressure in the latter rounds, and nearly finished the depleted Maia near the end of the fight. In the past, Covington was very selective with striking exchanges. This time around, he let go and walked Maia down with flat feet and hands held high. He kept a brutal pace that the 39-year-old Brazilian couldn't match. More importantly, Covington was mentally tough as well. He was enjoying every second of the hellish fight he was in. Maia had no chance.
Bit of a bloody battering here for Damian Maia in his third.
Even though the fight was exciting, what happened in the post-fight interview made all the headlines in the ensuing period. Taking the mic and pushing the translator away while the thunderous Brazilian crowd booed, Colby saved his UFC career in just a few sentences.
Brazil, you're a dog! All you filthy animals suck! I got one thing to say! Tyron Woodley, I'm coming for you!
Colby Covington, my God!
It was an electric speech in front of an enemy crowd. It was his Hail Mary move, but it would come at a price.
As we see Colby Covington being rushed out of the arena.
Colby faced death threats, people tried to enter his hotel to hurt him.
They wanted to kill you over there. They did. Somebody told me that at your hotel they had security guards on your floor.
They did. They were like, that's why they wouldn't let me do a post-fight press conference after the fight, because there was like a bunch of Brazilians surrounded the arena like with guns and like knives and forks.
Fellow UFC fighter, the Brazilian Fabricio Verdum tried to fight him outside of a hotel in Sydney. He lost the respect of many of his peers. Others saw through the act, but nonetheless didn't respect Colby's choice to go that route.
He's a big mouth fucking idiot.
He's done an amazing job of getting people to dismiss him because they think he's a piece of shit.
People don't like Colby, and they probably never will because he's a dipshit.
I don't know if I've had any bad words to say about him. I said he's an asshole.
That's not a bad.
No, he's an asshole. Does anybody disagree with that? I mean...
However, Colby was ready to pay the price. The choice was easy. Go back to being broke, wondering whether you'll pay the bills next month, or shoot for the stars. Bad Colby was born that night and hasn't relented since then. Colby fought another Brazilian, Rafael dos Anjos, on June 9, 2018 at UFC 225 for the interim UFC welterweight championship. Again, he ignited the animosity with Brazilian fans and called Rafael a Brazilian nerd.
I don't notice anything that little midget that got melted by a featherweight does. I'm just preparing for putting that little blockhead to sleep, and I'm gonna beat up a Brazilian geek and bang some Midwest freaks.
But he was no amateur. Rafael was coming off a win against Robbie Lawler.
For the winner, by unanimous decision, Rafael dos Anjos.
Many were doubting Covington, seeing his trash talk as nothing but theatrics, soon to be shut down.
Tomorrow night, I'm gonna let my balls hang on this filthy animal's face. Live on pay-per-view. Don't miss it. Let's go.
I built my way to the top. I love my family. I love Brazil. I love USA. And I'm gonna do that for you guys.
They would soon learn that as much as Colby was skilled in turning everyone against him outside of the octagon, he was equally skilled to win inside of it.
He went down in Brazil and said what he said to all the Brazilians. Then he showed up here and told everybody Chicago sucks, their pizza sucks. He's not a very friendly guy no matter what city he's in. I just think RDA is a very well-rounded fighter, has a ton of tools, and should be a good fight.
Dos Anjos 33, Colby Covington is 30.
Against Dos Anjos, Covington's pressure game and wrestling were on full display, and he harassed and smothered the Brazilian at every turn. Covington wasted no time in backing Dos Anjos up to the cage, and even scored a takedown in the opening seconds of the fight.
Colby right to him and gets the takedown immediately. Look at this. Colby generally doesn't fight like this. Big surprise.
When Rafael got back up, Colby was there continuing to back him up to the fence, applying pressure and a tremendous pace throughout the third round. Covington simply didn't let up in making Dos Anjos uncomfortable, always holding him up against the fence, shooting for a takedown while assaulting him with sideway punches. He won the fight via unanimous decision.
By unanimous decision, Colby Chaos Covington.
The win made Covington a contender for the welterweight belt.
You can't run, you can't hide no more, Tyrone Woodley. I'm coming for you. Come see me, bitch.
I didn't give Colby enough credit. I didn't think he was going to win that fight. But I thought RDA was going to be way too well-rounded and way too tough for Colby Covington, and I was wrong.
A bout with then-champion Tyron Woodley was set for September 8, 2018 at UFC 228. Unfortunately, Covington was forced to withdraw due to nasal surgery. The UFC then again threw a jab at Colby, finding a replacement in the up-and-coming Darren Till, who fought and lost against Woodley, who consolidated his status as the undisputed welterweight champion.
Tyron looking for a submission here. They got a tap. Tyron Woodley remains the welterweight champion.
And still, the
if that wasn't enough, Covington was stripped of the interim UFC welterweight championship he earned against Dos Anjos.
You know, if a guy sits on the shelf for X amount of time, which traditionally is 12 months, for any reason, he's eligible to be stripped.
This guy had a chance. He let Darren Till go out there and take his whooping for him. I think it's an embarrassment to the sport.
His return would be in a barn burner matchup. He was set to face legendary Robbie Ruthless Lawler in the main UFC event on August 3rd, 2019.
This is the main event of the evening, live from the Prudential Center in Newark, New Jersey.
Again, Colby proved that he was at the top of the UFC food chain. He won via unanimous decision while setting a record for the most strikes thrown in a UFC bout, a whopping 541.
And when this is all said and done, Colby Covington is going to have thrown north of 541 strikes.
It was a shockingly dominant performance by Colby Covington, who dictated the pace of the entire fight.
What he's doing right now, Covington, he's blanketing.
A total of 172 strikes landed, and 120 hit Lawler in the head.
I expected the early pressure from Lawler to pull out the shots, but he just can't stop the shots of Covington right now. They're too quick.
To that, he added 18 takedown attempts, 10 of which were successful.
Covington, not unlike Lawler, down the stretch, a spinning back fist to open a cut and close the show.
As impressive as Colby was during the fight, the real show was during the post-fight interview, with Colby taking the mic.
Let's give it up to the Trumps. They're in the building tonight. They're keeping America great.
With Donald Trump Jr. in attendance, Colby talked about Matt Hughes, a former UFC fighter and a friend of Robbie Lawler, who suffered a near-fatal accident in 2017 when his truck was struck by a train at a rail crossing.
You stay off the tracks when the train's coming through, Junior. Don't matter if it's a Trump train or the Colby train. Get out the way!
It's at these times that fans are wondering, can you go too far with your act? Colby didn't seem to care what he spoke, nor who was at the receiving side of his harsh words.
Thank you, sir, for sticking around. Ladies and gentlemen, come on! Ruthless Robbie Lawler!
The fight would set up the match that made fans all around the world salivate. With Usman's dominant win over Tyron Woodley for the championship belt, he was to defend the title against Covington. The build-up to the fight was as exciting as the fight itself.
Wait till you see what I do to this clown. You will see December 14th.
Put your money up.
I will. I'll put it up right now.
Bring it out. Pull it
up. Put it up right now. 25 grand.
Again, Colby drew the ire of the public due to his insensitive remarks about people's tragedies.
I think Marty Fake Newsman needs to rehash his friendship with Rashad Evans, because after I break that bitch on Saturday night, he's going to need to sleep on his couch.
You fucking nerd. It doesn't matter. After you get your ass kicked, you can do whatever you want to do. I don't care.
During a press conference, he said that Usman gave Glenn Robinson, Kamaru's longtime coach who died in 2018, a heart attack from all those years you were ducking me, and that Robinson would be watching from hell on December 14th.
I know you gave Glenn a heart attack for all those years you were ducking me, so don't worry, he'll be watching from hell on December 14th.
The two fighters faced each other for the UFC Welterweight Championship on December 14th, 2019 at UFC 245. It was as good of a fight as you'll ever see. Non-stop action start to finish. Both fighters exchanged a lot of strikes, but Usman seemed to have the edge over Covington.
Striking action thus far. Usman with an uppercut.
Yep, that hurt Covington. That body shot hurt Covington.
In the third round, Colby sustained a left mandibular fracture as a result of a strike by Usman, and was knocked down twice in the fifth round. The second knockdown was followed by a barrage of strikes by Usman, with Covington covering up on the ground, leading referee Mark Goddard to stop the fight, resulting in a TKO win for Usman.
Straight down the middle, sits Colby down. Colby's in survival mode here.
Declaring the winner by TKO, Amaru, Nigerian Nightmare.
The report from the Nevada Athletic Commission stated that Covington suffered from a fractured jaw during the fight. But the bout was closer than many people thought it was. Going into the final round, one judge had Covington winning 39-37, another had it tied at 38-38, and the other had it 39-37 in favor of Usman. Still, Usman won, deservedly so, but Colby wouldn't lose sight of the championship belt. After the loss, Covington was amidst more controversies. After a long-lasting public feud and trash-talking between Covington and other American top team members, most notably Dustin Poirier, Jorge Masvidal, and Joanna Jędrzejczyk, Covington left his first MMA gym, Juanita Benin, for 9 years in May 2020. He quickly found a new MMA home in the MMA Masters Gym in Miami, Florida. During his time in MMA Masters, Colby significantly improved his striking, cardio, and grappling, which were all tremendous even before his transfer.
Chaos comes out, baby. The King of Miami is here.
Chaos 2.0 was in the works.
It's really made my cardio the best in the world. No one can keep up. No one can keep that pace.
Covington headlined UFC on ESPN Plus 36 against rival Tyron Woodley on September 19th, 2020.
And the welterweight main event between two of the division's top five, the former interim champion Colby Covington versus the former undisputed UFC welterweight champion Tyron Woodley.
It was to prove whether or not Covington had the championship medal after losing against Usman. He answered in a resounding manner, dominating the declining Woodley for 4 rounds.
Body kick from Covington. Oh, big right hand from Covington. Colby Chaos. That's the kick his coach has asked for. That to the head and that to the body.
The bout was called as a technical knockout after Woodley suffered a rib injury.
To get that guillotine. Oh, something happened.
That's it.
So that is it.
Don't run on me.
Popped out.
Broken, you're nuts, fake news, man!
The rematch with Usman was inevitable. Both Covington and Usman gathered impressive wins after their bout, and there was no one left to challenge for the belt. The rematch was set for UFC 268. The lead up to the fight was equally exciting as the first one.
He wanted to fight anybody but this rematch. He knows who Daddy is. He knows who really won that fight.
The wait ends here for the UFC welterweight championship fight.
This time, Covington started the fight defensively, as he hesitated to throw punches and risked going in the pocket to land some heavy shots. As a result, he dropped round 1 to Usman. Usman knocked down Covington in the second round and ended the round with ground and pound, but he failed to finish Covington.
Huge close to round 2 for the champ.
Usman went defensive in round 3 as Colby attempted to land some heavy shots mixed with some takedowns. Colby's attempts for a takedown were all unsuccessful throughout the fight, and it was his striking that he relied on to give a competitive fight to Usman.
Got the takedown.
Usman maintained control throughout the fight, and except for the third round, he never looked to be on the back foot. Still, Colby showed tremendous heart, getting back on his feet, and even throwing solid punches that landed on Usman's head in the latter championship rounds. He never gives up, and always finds leftover fuel in his gas tank, no matter the challenge, no matter the opponent. In the end, both fighters embraced each other as Colby Covington lost the fight via unanimous decision.
And still the undisputed
An interesting thing happened when they embraced. Everyone was used to seeing the character that Colby meticulously developed. The trash-talking loudmouth that got on everyone's nerves. But at the end of the fight, another Colby came out to play. It was the kid that wants to be the best. The one that respects other fighters and enjoys tough competition.
Yeah, I had my moments, you know. It was his night, he had a better night. I want to say thank you to all the fans that came out. God bless you all.
The words he said to Usman were a brief respite from all the negativity that surrounded Colby during his tenure as a UFC fighter.
That's the next best guy in the division. He's a tough son of a gun, and he wasn't going to let me find that finish.
Covington would return to his usual self over the next few months, waging an online war against his former best friend and teammate turned nemesis, Jorge Gamebred Masvidal.
This guy's all talk, no walk. He's like the Dallas Cowboys.
If you want to talk about money, let's talk about him. He's got 2 theft charges, grand theft. The guy's a criminal, he's a thief, he's went to jail for stealing.
Once inseparable, the pair were once roommates, trained with each other, and were in each other's corner through thick and thin. When Masvidal lost, Colby was there to support him. When Colby won, Masvidal was in his. Masvidal struggled to break into the top of the division due to several close decision losses at the time. However, Covington was thriving. Their friendship would soon take a turn for the worse.
Little bitch.
Have you woken up yet?
Little bitch.
I thought you were still sleeping. I didn't know you woke up yet.
Masvidal alleged that Covington didn't pay 5% of his reported $350,000 purse for winning the interim welterweight belt to longtime coach Paulino Hernandez.
My coach was training him since he's an amateur all the way till he got his title with RDA, and then after that just ripped him off.
When he had the chance to finally pay back the $12,500, he didn't, so I went out there and paid my coach out of my own pocket. So since then, it was already like, I'm gonna f you up at some point.
En todas las peleas, él pagó bien, menos la pelea de 2 años. Él quedó.
And it's just a handshake deal. I'll take XYZ per fight, and that's it. Paid $0 of that tab, you know.
Covington denied the allegations.
The farthest thing from truth in the entire world. I didn't even make that much money that night. He wants to say it was about paying a coach. Dude, I pay my fees all the time. Why is Dan Lambert not saying anything? Because he knows I pay my gym fee. I didn't even have to pay any money to this striking coach, Paulino Hernandez. So these claims are false, it's fake news, it's a lie.
Covington claims to this day that Masvidal got jealous of his rise in the MMA and stabbed him in the back.
We were both starting to rise up, and he started to get jealous and envious of my success. And so he turned his back on me and started using me as a scapegoat to get a title shot. He got jealous, he got envious of my success, that I was rising up. He turned his back on me. He started talking shit in the media to me first.
But I thought we were friends. We never were. You know, if for a couple dollars you would throw my name under the bus or try to say things, we were never cool, you know.
As time passed, Masvidal and Covington became the big names of the division. After years of heated exchanges and turmoil, the time to settle the score finally arrived. In one of the rare non-title main events of UFC 272, it wasn't about a title or rankings. It was all about settling the score between former best friends turned worst enemies. In the long-awaited bout, Covington was to have the final word.
And this is the moment you've all been waiting for. Forward in the UFC welterweight division.
Masvidal was fresh out of his spectacular TKO loss to welterweight champion Kamaru Usman in September 2021. Colby was looking to rebound as well, losing his last championship fight also against Usman.
They will finally engage here in a matter of moments. Colby Covington.
Covington dominated Masvidal in their bout, showing his superior wrestling skills, but also his equally impressive stand-up game. He constantly pressured Masvidal, as he does to all of his opponents.
Big jab, big left, big strikes from Covington.
Even though Masvidal clipped Covington in the 4th round, sending him down for a moment, Colby stood back up and continued with his pressure as if nothing happened. His jaw made of steel, his gas tank endless. He was too large of a meal for the aging Masvidal.
So Colby Covington and Jorge Masvidal go the distance.
The fight was called 49-46, 50-44, and 50-45, leaving Covington with a dominant, unanimous decision win.
For the winner, Colby Chaos Covington.
Up until Leon Edwards' historical upset at UFC 278, Colby Covington was the gatekeeper for many years. Love or hate him, he's currently one of the best fighters in the game. A 3rd championship fight isn't that far-fetched, since both Usman and Covington showed that there's simply too much for the rest of the pack. And of course, because Leon Edwards now has possession over the belt. Usman will probably need to take some time off after that devastating knockout. And who better to challenge than the #1 contender? There's some scary competition on the horizon waiting for their chance. Chimaev leads the pack, followed by other contenders such as Gilbert Burns and Bilal Muhammad. I think we all agree that they first need to face Covington, inside and outside of the octagon, to get their chance under the largest spotlight. Over the past 8 years, Covington has built an unbearable persona to succeed in the UFC. It was his saving grace. But we wouldn't have the chance to see how high he can reach if he wouldn't do what he did. If you really open your eyes, you'll see that it's an act. You'll see that deep down, he's a nice guy who wishes success for everyone. Other than Masvidal. No wonder other fighters talk about the good guy Colby they run into in the gym.
He was a real nice guy. He held the door open for me once. He was like, gentlemen first. So I went. I was like, all right, sure.
Having a guy like that in the gym, just motivating everybody, seeing the energy he comes in. He's the first one there. He's the last one to leave. It's like, you see a guy like that, you got to hold yourself to that standard.
He's the greatest trickster in the company, and he continues to perfect that role. Whatever comes next, we will tune in to see Covington fight. He did it. He won. His family is set. and he's the star of the show. As of August 2022, our documentary started getting copyright claimed by Combat Sport Promotions. This means, once claimed, we do not earn any money from these videos, despite pouring hundreds of hours into perfecting our content. With your support, we can continue expanding our dedicated production team, and of course, creating one-of-a-kind content here on YouTube. Please show your support to us through our Patreon in the link below. So we're here on YouTube to stay.